Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Hey, welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. We're going to start in a few minutes, but I want to tell you to hit up our social sites, retweet, share, comment, like, do all of that stuff. It can only help us out and it'll make the show even better. But we're getting ready to give you a lot of good Ole Miss information, and I just thought I would tell you that because the POMcast is starting. Well, it's starting right now. Wait, no, that's a little early. It is starting right about now. Good morning. Welcome to the POMcast. Ole Miss a 61-21 victor over Tulane. We didn't really see that coming. We saw them being good. We saw them being explosive offensively. They're finally starting to put that together and just in time. Hey, thank you, Trent. Hotty toddy. And before we get started today on this jam-packed show, I do want to tell you about Travel and Cruise World, 1-800-330-7461. That's Travel and Cruise World, 1-800-330-7461. What I wanted to do with here is give you a resource down here. They can get you the same price as you can get online, so whenever you do that. But this will be a resource because these guys know the different rules that might be. Like masks are required indoors at Disney. They're not at Universal. They're familiar with what's going on the beaches. Hit them up. Also, go to bookatailgate.com. Big win, but bookatailgate.com has single game packages available for you, especially with Arkansas coming into town in 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks. They can help you out with that. They can hook you up with TV. They can pick up your catering. They can even store your tailgating gear, or they can rent you what you need. So go to bookatailgate.com and they can hook you up. That's bookatailgate.com, 662-701-1177. Also, La Terrain Watches, the official watch partner of the POMcast. Thank you very much for that. Basically, what you can do, you can go get a 10% discount by using the promo code POMcast. You can hook it up and get all that good stuff. Fine quality watches. Go check them out. That's la-terrain.com, and you can go pick out the watch of your dreams. Okay, if you want to watch the show, you can catch us on Twitter at the Stephen Willis or at Ole Positively. Hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast. We're on YouTube at Positively Ole Miss. Subscribe. Hit the bell. Not only can you know that we're streaming, you'll know what we're streaming about, and they have the best notification system out there. So if you want to listen to a podcast form or catch it on Twitter or on Twitch or however you want to look at it on Facebook, these guys have the best notification system. So definitely hit the bell and use the notifications. Tons of you guys are. Our numbers on Twitter and Facebook are off the charts. Our podcasts are off the charts. And I think it's because of the notifications from YouTube. So thank you very much for that. And let's see. Oh, we're also on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss, all one word, all lowercase. Thank you for that as well. Audio-wise, you can catch us on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and Pandora. Also, we're on Amazon Music and Audible. So, have that going for us, which is lovely. So, Ole Miss defeats Tulane 61-21 last Saturday. Over 700 yards of offense. Matt Corral scored 7 touchdowns, tied Showboat Boykin, which, by the way, I believe his cousin is Luke Altmaier, the backup quarterback. So, there's a little synergy there. The offense looked really good. Really good. Basically, what happened in that game is Tulane wanted to play back, and Ole Miss just ran it down their throats. Then Tulane decided they were going to try to take away the run, and that's when the passing game opened up. It was an absolute torturing of linebackers. We've told you for a year how this offense tortures linebackers and how they can't be right. And this is an example of that. This is what it looks like whenever they start spinning. Their head starts spinning, and there's not a lot they can do to even make it acceptable. And the offense went down 41 first downs, 707 yards of offense. I think Matt Corral had over 400 yards of total offense and 7 touchdowns. Jerry and Ely went over 100 yards. Deep balls to Jonathan Mingo and Braylon Sanders because they were in their scheme. They wanted to take away the run, so that opened up the deep ball, like we've explained over and over and over again. And it was just really interesting and really good to see. And Matt Corral is playing at a different level. He's a different dude. He's hit. I've mentioned after the first week that he looked like Eli out there, and he does look like Eli out there. He's completely in control. He knows everything. It almost looks like he knows what the defense is doing before they're doing it. But I noticed something after the Tulane game, and that is that he kind of has reminded me of Joe Burrow during that special 2019 season at LSU. And if you just take a look at Joe Burrow and the confidence that he had and the focus that man had, Matt Corral is bringing that to Ole Miss as well. Not saying that Eli didn't have it, not saying any other quarterbacks didn't necessarily have it. I'm just saying that kind of reminded me of that. The story of Matt Corral turning all the TVs off in the team room during the delay because he was worried about the focus of his guys is very Joe Burrow stuff. And the offense is starting to look like that 2019 LSU offense. And it starts and stops with Matt Corral. Now, I'm not saying that this offense would not be good. If Luke Altmaier was put in today, God forbid, this offense would be serviceable. But it would not be to the level it is right now. You have an experienced person at the controls of this that knows the ins and outs of the defense, can identify the defense while going through his pre-snap progression. He has help in the booth to get him in the right plays. It's absolutely amazing. It really is. And people need to enjoy this. Everybody talking about, well, this could happen or that can happen. That's fine. Enjoy this. This doesn't always happen. There's a little bit of a specialness that has come from this. And also, God bless Corral for going through. Everybody knows he was an immature guy as a freshman, as a sophomore. That Rich Rod year, it was a disaster for him. And then that spring, he decided that he wasn't going to do that anymore, and that he was going to basically become the guy that he is now. And then Lane Kiffin came in, who is a master of giving somebody confidence. That's probably Lane Kiffin's better gift, is the ability to make players confident. And if they are confident, they're going to go out and play hard, they're going to play fast, and the coach, they're going to pick up the mindset of the coach, and they're just not afraid of anybody. They're not going to defer to anybody. And we'll get onto that when we start talking about Alabama in the second segment. But in the first segment here, we're talking about Tulane. Yeah, I think we got a little bit of a break time here, and we're going to do the post-game sound and everything, and then we'll come back and close up thoughts on Tulane and get ready for Alabama as we get ready for a bye week this week. And in the second segment, we got the lines for week 4. So we will do that as well. But we'll be back after that.
From Oxford,
on
Mississippi.
Stadium, Oxford,
Pac-12.
Mississippi.
No.
Tonight
SEC
it is the home opener
after
to number
dark.
20 Ole Miss
The
Rebels.
brand change.
They welcome
Tulane
the
taking
Austin
on
Peay Governors from the
number
Ohio
17
Valley
Ole Miss
Conference
after
to
a
town.
weather delay of almost 2 hours. This is the area where you've got to watch out for 11, Dontario Drummond. They're lining him up in that tight end spot, and if you lose him, he's gone.
Trying to make
Drummond is up.
I'm not throwing it out.
Vaughn Hemingway
Stats,
Stadium,
those are really,
Oxford,
like,
Mississippi.
stats.
Tonight it is the
You know,
home
that was
opener
first
for the
down,
number
we were
20
playing really
Ole
well
Miss
with a lot of
Rebels.
people
They
from
welcome the
Tulane.
Austin Peay Governors from the Ohio Valley Conference to
plays.
town.
So proud of the guys how they did that. Wish we didn't have a bye.
against LSU.
We're
Couple
playing
of
so well,
touchdowns.
but it
Matt
is what it
Corral
is.
on the run.
Yeah,
The throw complete, a touchdown. They just keep hooking up. That's Don Terry.
All right. We're going to get out of that because my computer is messing up and bleeding in Austin Peay stuff. That is what you heard. That is ridiculous, and I need to figure out what is going on with that. So that is normally our post-game stuff. If I need to refresh that, Lane Kiffin was proud of his guys, of what he's done. He talked glowingly about Matt Corral. He mentioned the defense giving up 21 points, and a pick play was given up that was not called by the official that allowed the other team to score, and that really should be taken into account. And also, Jonathan Mingo talked about his role with the team and how he is excited to become, a good player and how he's incrementally trying to get better. Doesn't matter what he did the week before, it's what he did now. AJ Finley talked about how he's not pleased with the defensive performance tonight and that Tulane shouldn't have scored what they scored. That's an interesting thought as well. And let's see, Matt Corral talked about, he told a story about the focus thing at the beginning of the game and how that went through. And went on and he talked about, why he was running so much in the game and what they were doing. He was actually breaking down their play. I hate that y'all didn't get to hear that. So that was pretty great as well. I hate that didn't work because that was really good and I cut up a good piece of that. And I do not know why it's bleeding through. We'll find out. I think I need to delete the file and just start with a new file next time. I had it set up with a playlist and everything to where you can just go to me and everything. And it just didn't work out for whatever reason. But that game is in the books. Now, we need to turn the page to Alabama. And when it comes to Alabama, I think people need to respect Bama. Like 4 and 5 stars everywhere, elite players. Yes, absolutely. But there are too many games that are lost against Alabama when you walk in and see the helmet. It's all started. It's from over-respecting the opponent. It's from over-deferring the opponent. Because I am a firm believer. If you tell a kid all the time that the offense is too complicated and you can't pick it up, when he comes in, he will fail because he will believe you. No offense is so complicated that no freshman or whatever can run it. It's an ego trip by the coach. His offense is special. That's not exactly the case. The freshman can go out and run anything you can do as long as they are encouraged to do it and they're given the tools to succeed and they're not told over and over and over again that you can't make this happen, that this will not happen. There's no offense out there that is so complicated that a freshman can't pick up. But if you tell a freshman over and over and over again that they can't do it, eventually they will believe you every time. So whenever a team like Alabama comes on the field, yeah, they're a good team. But if you hear over and over and over again how great of a team they are and what kind of stress they're going to put on you and all these great players and Nick Saban's on the sideline, eventually the players will believe you. And they will see Alabama as some kind of unbeatable foe. And you saw against Florida last week. Alabama jumped up 21-3. Like that. And it was because Florida was over-deferring and they didn't believe they could happen. But once they started running the ball and kind of getting into the game, they figured out, wait, we can do this. We can play with these guys. We can play with these guys. And they started to go, and they were 2-point conversions away from beating them. If it wasn't for that disaster first quarter, they would have beat them. I don't see Alabama as what we traditionally know Alabama to be. And I'll tell you about that, tell you about why here in a little bit. But we're going to take a short break. I think we're going to take a short break anyway. Computer's acting up today. That's weird. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk about why I believe Bama is gettable and what do I see from Bama, like officially, like what they're doing. This is not the same Bama team that was coached by Sark. This is not even the same Bama offense that had Tua with Mike Loxley and those guys. This is a different type animal. So if the defense is going to struggle like they did against Florida, because Florida hit them by running tight ends and wide receivers into spaces vacated by linebackers. It's our playbook with that. They might have done it a little bit different way, and they might have got there with different formations and different concepts, but the attacking of the space behind the linebackers is something we've made our living on. Of course, this last game, we did a lot of work on the outside, so it should be pretty interesting to see. But we're going to take a short break, and I'll tell you exactly why Alabama is not what they used to be. Stick around. All right, welcome back to the show. I'm Stephen Willis, your host here on the POMcast. And Trent says, we're a good running and passing team. Try to stop one and the other one comes available. Exactly. We told you guys for a year that this offense is designed to punish linebackers. If they come up and they play the run, they're going to be hit right behind them for the pass. It's just a replace play, and it's just because it's happening in the middle of the field, people lose their mind a little bit. So, this Alabama offense is not the same as last year's Alabama offense or the year before's Alabama offense. Any of the Sark offense, any of the Mike Loxley offense, and any of the Lane Kiffin offense. Let's go back. This is closer to a Doug McElwain style offense. Still good. They're doing great stuff, and there's elite players all over the field. There's 4- and 5-star players everywhere. So it doesn't matter what they do. Really, there's going to be the potential for something great to happen, for something big to happen, just because of how talented they are. I mean, that's the machine they've built. Good for them. But this isn't the dominant offense that Mac Jones ran last year that took them to a national championship. This isn't the dominant offense that Tua was in charge of before that. This isn't the dominant offense that Lane Kiffin basically invented, that made Jalen Hurts into an NFL quarterback. This is not that offense. Like I said, this is more like Doug McElwain. It's very, very pro-spread in what they're doing. And I can see why they're doing it. I mean, I understand why they're doing it. They have such great players. But you'll see a lot of flares to the running backs outside. You know, we did that last year, obviously, but there's no Najee Harris, whatever. But it's designed, the plays are designed to get 4 yards. This play is designed to get 4 yards. This play is designed to get 7 yards. And if you get more than that, bonus. But I haven't seen many plays like, hey, this play is designed to score right now. I don't care that we're on our own 13-yard line. There was a bust against Miami that allowed a player to score. That they blew the coverage and there was just a wide open receiver running down the field. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the stuff with Tua and Mac Jones and the way they ran. Now, it helped that they had Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle, and maybe their wide receiver core makes this a little bit lesser than what they were. Again, not saying their wide receiver core isn't great. It's 4 and 5 stars everywhere. It's elite players. But it's not Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith. And it's certainly not Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs. I mean, good players, but they're being utilized different. You see a lot of sets where they're running 2 tight ends. I think Billingsley is starting to get involved. I expect him to start getting really involved right now because he's a matchup problem. He's a legit matchup problem. They have elite players all over the field, but he is the special one. And he will make other players around him better if they're used effectively. Do I have confidence in Bill O'Brien to do that? No, I do not. Bryce Young, he is doing better when you blitz him than when you don't blitz him. I think he's averaging 8 or 9 yards per pass when he's blitzed. When he's not blitzed, it's closer to 6. That's interesting, especially against a drop 8 team. It'd be interesting to see what DJ Durkin does with that. But as we saw, Florida started to affect him. Good player, great player. All players can be affected. If you want Tom Brady to look like an average quarterback, get pressure. So if Ole Miss can rush 3 against Alabama and get pressure, which sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. I mean, it's just the way it is. But if Sam Williams can have a day and do that, Ole Miss will win the game. Period. But I have a feeling it will be a situation where pressure is going to be a little bit harder to come by because there's talent on that offensive line. But you need Sam Williams and Cedric Johnson, who is going home to his home state. I think he's a Mobile kid. Him rushing the passer. And the nose guards are actually performing quite well right now. But with Chance Campbell and those guys tackling those bulls at running back, Brian Robinson, I love Brian Robinson as a player. Fantastic player. And their offense is designed for the running backs. If you look at their offense, they might run the spread, but it's designed to give those running backs a little bit of an emphasis because previously it was the receivers. Right now, their stables or backs are pretty good. I think McClellan's pretty good. Trey Sanders is out there, and we're going to do a pregame show for Alabama with Stacey Blackwood and Jake Thomas. And we're going to dive into all of this. It's going to be about an hour long. So we're going to do that next week. But know that plan is there. So I'm really excited about what's going on, about the offense, 700 yards, everything. They looked like they were supposed to do. They went to the polls. Ole Miss did 13 in each poll, the coaches and the AP. And that makes all the sense in the world. I mean, it just does. Especially when you look what happened in Norman, and then you look what happened there. Now, Oklahoma's got major problems as well because Nebraska went to Norman, and if they had special teams at all, would have won the game. Would have absolutely won the game. 2 missed field goals and a missed extra point. That's the margin of victory. But I expect the Ole Miss Alabama game as we build up for the next, 12 days or so. I expect it to build up over time. So I'm expecting game day. I'm expecting a fever pitch. I'm expecting Ole Miss football to not see a game. It may be 2003 LSU like. It might be 2014 Alabama like. One of those two. So just be prepared for that. All right, we're going to take a look at betting lines. And you can see right here, I did not find a line for Arkansas and Texas A&M. Obviously, because I guess Haynes King is hurt. But it's not really set up the way you would think it'd do. But Arkansas looks really good right now. It's a game that they can definitely drop if you're Texas A&M. Calzada looked all right, 34-0 win over New Mexico. But I am looking forward to watching that game. And this weekend, I will be on point for just watching ball. But we start out with Kentucky and South Carolina. Line opened at Kentucky by 6. It's gone down to Kentucky by 5.5. The game is at Columbia. South Carolina, this is weird to say, in a 40-13 loss, they look better than I thought they would. So That is encouraging. All right. Southern Miss is a 46-point underdog. Take the points to Alabama. The game is at Bama. The game is before Ole Miss. I do not think it's going to be that high. Can Southern Miss score 10 points? Because if they can, Alabama can't cover, basically, is what that means. And I think Southern Miss can score 10 points. I think Florida exposed them a little bit in what they're doing. Georgia, 31-point favorite at Vanderbilt. The line opened at 34. The line's going towards Vandy. Vandy is starting to play a little bit better. They really are. You can see that, what's going on. There was a costly pick in the first half. If that's not thrown, it's like a 3-point game at the half against Stanford, and it's a different ball game. At Mississippi State, LSU is a 3-point favorite. It opened at 4 against the Bulldogs. Mississippi State. I don't know how you can take LSU in that game. They want to play man coverage. We saw what happened when Mississippi State played LSU last year, when LSU played man coverage. You saw what UCLA did to LSU's defense, playing man coverage. It's a game that has a potential for State to win by 21 plus. I don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe they got some of that shored up. Maybe they'll play some of that drop 8 right now. I don't know. But if they play what they're normally supposed to do, State will blow them out. Flat out. Florida is favored by 20. Favored by 20 over their opponent. Who's their opponent? Oh, Tennessee. Line opened at 17, moved 3 points at the start. The game is in Gainesville. Also, Auburn is a 27-point favorite over Georgia State. Line opened at 23. It's much thing, like I said, I could not find a line. Could not find a line on Texas A&M and Arkansas. I'm sure one will pop out by the time we do our picks. Just remember also tonight, Beast of the East, unless something pops up. If that's the case, we'll move it to Thursday again. Tomorrow, Best of the West with Jake Thomas from Tide Talk. We'll want to hear from him and start to really pay attention to that game as it comes up. And SEC After Dark, you heard all the guys in the highlights and everything. I was really excited about that. Heard all those guys in the highlights talking about SEC After Dark, and that made me smile. Bill Flowers Talking Ball will be Thursday at 6. I think I'm recording that Tuesday. And then we'll get into watching ball and just enjoy it. Enjoy this football season. Enjoy what's going on in Ole Miss sports right now. It's a really cool thing. And it's honestly worth you getting happy for. Now, if not saying get your hopes, we're going to win everything. No, just enjoy this. That's all I'm saying. Just enjoy this. I want to thank everybody in the chat. Trent the Sip, thank you very much for your comments today. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes back. And we'll have a good day. We'll have a good time. All right. Until then, I will see you tomorrow, same time, 10 Central, POMcast, and Best of the West tomorrow, Beast of the East tonight. Until then, hotty toddy.